Hi my YouTube family, this is Melody from Home Garden and Fashion. I thank you so much for being here today. Today we're going to have a wonderful time together. Hi, it's Mel. Hope you all of you are doing awesome today. We're going to do a story. This story name is Fate. So this is gonna be Fate 2. One we already have done it, and if you haven't watched it, you can go watch that one. So Ajay was just a college graduate, and after he finishes college, before he will start his work, he decided to go for a little vacation. So he went on a vacation, and as he went near a sea beach, and then as he was roaming around, and there was a famous yogi, very famous yogi, and everybody was standing in huge long lines to meet the yogi. Ajay actually did not believe in these things, but he decided, okay, I'll just go meet the yogi because this was something interesting to him. So he stood in a long line, and by the time the line finished and his turn came to see the yogi, it was like 2 hours, and he was very tired standing in the hot sun in a long line. But at the same time, he was a little excited to see what the yogi had to say. So his turn came, and he went near the yogi. So yogi looked at Ajay, and then yogi actually was very famous, and he could read people's future just looking into them, or even not looking, just thinking about them. So he had immense power, as and years ago humans used to be very powerful, immense powerful, and gradually their powers been taken away due to all the pollutions in air, water, everywhere, and all kinds of things that we consume, and that just puts a barrier into our third eye chakra. All the things that we use in our daily life, all kinds of chemicals and toxins. But years ago, especially the yogis who lived in the deep forest and drank fresh water, spring water, and ate only fruits and vegetables, and did not consume any kind of chemicals or anything, and lived in nature and did pranayama, yoga, breathing, meditation, and totally connected with the nature. So their third eye is fully open and they can see, sense, connect. So he saw Ajay, and then he said that okay, so I'm going to tell you a few things about your future, and they will come true whether you believe it or not, because that's what's in your fate, and it comes from karma. So as you change your karma, these predictions will change to or lower, in a sense that effect of those karma will be lower. So he said that you will have a good job, and then you have money, and you have good life, and then you meet a girl, and then you'll get married, and you'll be happily married, and then few years down the road, your bad time will come. It will come somewhere in late betrayal from people starts with your wife and then other family members, close family member, loved ones. So like that, many betrayal and many awakening you will have, and then you will lose interest in life and might become very much fed up with life, and then you might just leave everything and go away for in quest of finding the true love, or finding the reasons to continue live. So basically he said things like that, and Ajay didn't believe anything because he didn't used to believe these things, and he just went just to, since he was on a vacation and he wanted to explore something new. So after that he went away, he went outside, ate his dinner and had lots of fun, and then he enjoyed his entire vacation, and then he went back home. And then after that, within few days, he got his job and he went to a new city, and their life was really good, and he got himself a nice place to live. As he was working, and just like the yogi said, he met a girl at his work, and this was from his own religion. So they got to know each other, and then within a year or so, both the families got together and got them married, and he was very happily married because he liked the girl and she liked him too. So as they were very much in love and life went really good, about 10 years of living together, they didn't have any children, so this was a big issue in the family. From both the families, they used to put pressure on both of them, and as they both begin to fight with each other and things like that because of not having children, Ajay's wife Seema wasn't very happy because she also used to feel lonely at times, and also she felt less by watching others having children. So there was always tension between. Now during this time, Ajay's little brother Pallav came from US. He went to US actually to study, and he finished his study, everything. So he came back, and Ajay was very happy with that. So Ajay called him to work with him in his company and just work two brothers together. And so Pallav came, and there were two brothers working together, and now a little bit more happiness came because there are more people in the family and they were not so lonely. And Pallav was very different than Ajay. Ajay was a little bit reserved and quiet, but Pallav was really fun-loving guy. So after work, he used to play instrument like guitar and things, and Ajay's wife used to sing, and it was like a really good family event every evening. So after dinner, most of the time Ajay used to be very busy with his work. Even after dinner, he would go into the office room and work, and Pallav will just sing with his brother's wife, and they will sing and recite poems, and they had little bit of habit of writing, so they would write novel and stories, things like that. So they became very good friends, very close, and they didn't know when that this friendship had turned to the love, and they became actually lovers. And Ajay was so busy with his work that he never noticed that, and he knew these two were always acting like children. So, and then what? Soon they became very close to each other, Pallav and Seema. And Ajay never knew all this because he was too busy in his office work, and he always considered Pallav as his little brother, more like a son, and he believed that Seema would do the same. And he had enormous trust on Seema and Ajay, but which wasn't the case. They both fell in love, and they were secretly seeing each other. And then after some time, something unexpected happened. Seema became very ill, and one day she fainted. So they rushed her to the hospital, and then the doctor told Ajay that we have a good news. Nothing to worry about. Your wife is just going to be a mother, and she's just pregnant 3 months. So at this, Ajay was very surprised, and he told the doctor that when we went through many doctors for 10 years, and they did not give us any hope, and they said it was literally impossible unless we adopt. Then the doctor said, well, miracles do happen, so I mean, it's all up to God's hand. Finally, it's not human can make everything happen. There are certain things when God takes over. So as Ajay being very nice person, he believed that. And then Seema knew what was the truth, and it was kind of bothering her, but there was nothing she could do because Pallav and Seema were madly in love with each other, and Ajay never suspected this at all, so he always took Pallav as his son. And actually Pallav was Seema's age, as in India years back people used to get married, usually bride 10 years younger than themselves, sometimes maybe 7-8 years, but at least 5-6-7-8 years. So and then the day came when Seema delivered a beautiful baby girl, and it looked exactly like Pallav. But everybody say, well, the baby girl went on uncle and looks like the uncle. So as days went by, and then finally there was a day when Ajay did see Seema and Pallav being together in a romantic way, and then he started suspecting. So then she started noticing, and then started paying attention to what they do, where they go, And through their conversation and through spying on them, Ajay did came to know that they've been in love with each other for years, and the new baby girl, which Ajay thinks is actually his brother. But Ajay couldn't say anything to anyone because it will be bringing down the family and bringing down the family's name, and it's not acceptable in Indian culture. So he told Pallav and Seema that he's going to go for some religious journey because he's been feeling very restless and his mind is all over the place and he needs to find some answers. And years back he had seen a yogi who has predicted few things, and now that he sees those things coming true, so he wants to go on a religious journey for about 2-3 months. And he gave everything to Pallav, so Pallav understood the business and everything, and he said goodbye to his wife and little daughter. But he wasn't angry with anyone. He was actually angry with himself for not trusting the yogi and his future prediction, and he was angry with himself for having such fate. And so he needed some clarification, some peace in his mind, and he knew he needs to get away from Pallav and Seema because he knew there's no point of fighting or arguing or confronting them, because as they are madly in love with each other, and what is the point even if Pallav goes away and he throws him out, and even if he stays with Seema and pretends like nothing happened, but still the little girl is the proof that something did happen. And he couldn't live with that, even though he loved the child, but he still needed some answers. And he knew there's no point bringing these things in the family. It will just bring down family's name and just cause a lot of shame in the neighborhood. So he took a big bag, whatever his belonging, and he gave all the money to Seema and little girl. Her name was Archana. So he gave those money to them and house in Seema's name, and gave the business to Pallav and told him to take care of things until he comes back. And then he went on a journey. He went far, far away in the train, and he went to the mountains and the rivers, and he saw all the beautiful things, and he went to many, many, many religious places. Nowhere that he found actual answer or peace. Then finally he reached to the destination where he started from. So he stood in the long line, and again 2 hours later he got to see the Baba. And to his surprise, the Baba still looked the same, even though there were in between there were 10 or 15 years past, but still Baba looked very much the same smile, same solid body, as if there are no change. And one thing that Ajay found is this immense happiness and this immense peace in the Baba. So he fell down on Baba's feet and he cried and cried. And then the Baba put his hand on Ajay's head and said, "Let it all out, my son, let it all out." And he cried and he cried. And then he said, "I trusted her with everything. I could have given my life for her, all my life savings, my house, my everything. I put it on her name and her child's name. But behind my back, they betrayed, traitors." And then first he cried, then he had so much anger. Then Baba said, "Let it all out, let all the tears come out." When everything was done, then Baba ordered him to come to the temple and stay there, and every morning and evening do the prayer ceremony, then sit in quiet and meditate. And this is the time for you to know yourself, to connect with yourself, and know that in this world, no one that you could trust, no one that's yours, and no one that you have your power over. So who can you trust? And who do you have your power over? So that is the only person, is God, because you can trust him with or her. We have him or her, to God and goddesses. You can trust, you can say all the things from inside you and let it all out. And the God is not going to betray you. But human nature is such. They will. And as Ajay got to know the priest every single day he was so totally into this priest life, and he loved every moment of it. That this was so peaceful, so much serenity. And then there was no more evil thoughts, no more anger, no more thought of revenge, or no more thought of mistrust. All these things just started melting off like candles melting, and he was filled with divine peace and purity and happiness and joy. And he wanted to meditate all day, 8 hours. And about a year he meditated daily, and he prayed, and he lived in that amazing place where there water coming from the mountain, fresh water everywhere, fruits and vegetable growing. And these yogis used to work all day to grow these fruits and vegetables, and they had work divided. Everyone used to work, and then they would just drink a bowl of soup with vegetables, and then they will eat some fruits, and then they will meditate. And they kept the place neat and clean. And it was just such happiness, trust. And he liked that so much. So 1 year later, he said to the yogi that I must return my home just to see how they are doing, if Pallav is there taking care of them. So the Baba said, the yogi said to Ajay that if that is what's coming to your head, and then you will not be able to stay here, because you should go and find out and then come back when you wish. Otherwise, if something is bothering you, then you may not feel happy. So then he went, and as he went to his home, and he saw his wife and his daughter Archana, and Seema and Archana was very happy to see, and he didn't see Pallav. So he asked Seema, where is Pallav? And then Seema started crying, and then she said that Pallav, in his work, he met his secretary, and then they fell in love, and he ran away with the secretary. So now Seema takes care of the business and the little girl. So at this, Ajay felt very, very angry, very, very sick. So he went to Pallav's office and he wanted to lash him out in front of everybody. But he couldn't do that because he didn't want it to spill the secret in front of every family member or the office people, because then nobody will respect Ajay or Seema. So he went and he told him that no more any relationship will be with him, and he just does not want anything to do with him. And then he came back and he told Seema also that there won't be any relationship between them. But the little girl has not done anything wrong. She came to this world because she was brought to this world. So he will be her father and he will take care of her and give her proper education and make her big, and then give her the company, and then he will go away for good. So he did so. He raised the daughter, and throughout this whole time he never stayed with Seema. He stayed in his own room because he couldn't forgive her, couldn't trust her again, and wasn't something in his mind anymore, because he was connected with the higher divine, with the greater purpose, and he didn't feel any need for this worldly bodily needs. So every day and evening, he taught his daughter how to pray, how to meditate, and then they together went outside for long walks and they played in the park, and then he gave her good education, and in about 10-15 years she grew up and went to college, and after that he handed her the company. And by that time, actually Seema got very sick, so he couldn't leave her. He had to take care of her. So he took care of Seema, and then one day she went away too, and before she went away, she, at her deathbed, she cried and asked for forgiveness. And that moment he said, I forgive you, so your soul will have peace and you can have peace. But next life, when you come back, be sure to be honest, truthful, and obey the laws of the marriage. Be sure not to betray. So I forgive you. and then she died. And then also Ajay couldn't leave because he wanted to settle down his daughter. So he settled her down, got her married, and now that she was running, Archana was running the company and she was married to this wonderful guy. Now Ajay said, Archana, my dear child, would you please give me the permission to go be with God now? Archana was very sad, but she did know that this is what her dad wanted. He wanted to be with God in the prayers and with the priest, because that priest made the significant mark in Ajay's life. At the beginning, Ajay did not believe, but later, when he was so disturbed, the priest brought the peace in him, and priest had created a better version of Ajay. So he had immense amount of respect and love and appreciation for that life. So he went away, and when he went to the priest, and he saw the priest still looked the same. There was no change, physical change or mental change. So first Ajay learned how to be peaceful, how to manage the life, how to be that great human being. But the second thing, being with the priest, he learned that when we are peaceful and we have all the happiness in our life, and when we meditate, when we pray, and when we eat healthy food, and when we live a healthy life, all the priests, they used to go to bed as soon as dark with all the animals. There was no TV, no computer, no cell phone, none of those electronic gadgets. So he learned that that actually extends our life. That actually makes us stay the way we are, and young and beautiful. So as he saw the priest, no change on him, his belief went to 200%, from 100 to 200%, and he didn't want to go anywhere but to that beautiful serene place, and he stayed there, and he became the right hand for the priest, because priest also liked Ajay as a human being, that as Ajay went and took care of all the family matters and became such a responsible man, even though he had all this anger and disgust for his brother, for his wife, but still he carried his responsibility and raised that daughter and put her in a better place, because she had not done anything wrong and she did not ask to come to this world. She was brought into this world. So he took care of her and never let her know that he's not the real father. So this story was about fate. Is we cannot deny the fate. Whatever is in our fate is going to happen, no matter how educated we are, no matter how rich we are, no matter what are the things we acquire, but it's still we cannot get away from our fate, and fate comes from our past life karma. So we are basically tied down to the rules, and we are not free. We are never free until we free ourselves in nature, just like the birds and the animals and all that. They are in the nature and they follow the nature's rule. They go to bed on time, wake up on time, and live in nature, and they eat real natural foods and breathe the fresh air and drink the fresh water and meditate and do not lie, cheat all day and do bad things. Then we automatically reverse our karma. So I hope you like the story. Don't forget to like, subscribe, comment and share, and I will see you with many more. Bye bye. Good night. Sweet dreams. Hi, thank you so much for being here today. I hope you enjoyed the video. Please don't forget to like, subscribe, comment and share this video. Thank you. May God bless you all.